Today's random ramblings, I think I will touch up on education and stuff. I've had a lot of people talking to me. I speak to someone new every day pretty much on my phone calls and stuff, and a lot of them have these wild dreams but no understanding how to get there or why they actually want to do that. That's even more important. And we all have been taught we need to go to school, we need to do this, we need to do that, and you need, when you graduate this wonderful thing, you're gonna have so much money and freedom, and we all know it's bullshit. Like, don't get me wrong, education is very important. I've graduated 3 universities myself. It taught me how to think. It taught me how important connections are, and most of all, it taught me to be much more critical than I already am. So my upbringing was always learn from mistakes made by others. Don't try to make all your mistakes yourself, and always question yourself. So when I did my master's degree, we had a Greek professor, and he was always emphasizing that if lecture is finished by him being the last person to speak, no one ever questioned him, it's either he's done shit job or no one has done their homework and have come to lecture unprepared. That brings me to people and disagreements. So if you learn something in university, school and whatnot, you always have just one-sided way of dealing with things, and often we don't even question, is this wrong or right? And I think that's where our education fails us, that we are so stuck up into getting graded by someone who doesn't even understand how our mind works, that we forget to acknowledge that we all think differently. Hence why over last year I have probably learned much more than any university has ever given to me by specifically focusing on understanding myself first. And where I come from, we had these kind of life lessons, so where women are taught how to be women and guys get taught how to be guys. You can pick and choose whichever you want to go to, but that's why I am kind of an outlier when I go into a completely different society apart from the one I was raised at. So, and it would be nice if our educational systems would actually have something like that all over the place, where you actually learn who are you, why are you doing things, what interests you, how can your passion for certain things help others. Because a lot of times we want to do these million things. Let's take money for example. Oh, I want to earn this, I want to earn that. Nobody wants to earn money, no one wants to work, everyone wants freedom. So we want freedoms that money gives us. We want to feel that there is nothing that restrains us. We don't want to feel like now where we are locked away at homes and we can't do jack shit. That's why we chase money, but it's not the money we want. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can realize, like, you know what, I can make myself happy by doing little things every day that actually spark up my day. And that's exactly what I do now. I have 4 mentors that teach me exact things what I enjoy and what I miss to become better and be more useful for the people I work with. Hence, I would really strongly suggest everyone to sit down and just look back before you take any steps further. And like, now is great time to get educated and improve yourself, but figure out what is that you actually want. Like, don't message me with what books do you read without understanding what do you want to change, because books are thought-provoking. And if you read absolute garbage book that doesn't relate to your beliefs, your morals, you just waste your time. So I prefer reading books just to spark up my English a bit. I'm not from England, so it's not my language. Kind of I have to adapt, and I just like to expand my vocabulary. And things are extremely specific for me, since I started to ask myself a question: why am I reaching out for a specific person? Why am I reading a specific book? When I sit down, why am I checking that social media? What does it change? Is it just little dopamine kicks that someone liked something, or is it actually learning something? And following from that, when you learn something, do you actually take an action on top of that? These things you won't be taught in school. And again, I emphasize, schools are important. That's where you make your connections. That's where you learn how to speak to people. That's where you learn how to work with each other. So that's, in my eyes, is much more important than your grade in any subject you're learning. People skills, which mine are shit. Changes that. So, but yeah, so those are my couple thoughts on education. This was triggered mainly because I speak to so many people that want to do a million things, and they think that they need to go and do these government approved whatever things. And when I highlight to them that most important figures in their perceived action of plan where they want to progress, people who are extremely good at that, they most likely don't even have education run by government. They have self-educated themselves to be extremely good at some really niche down subject, and then go from there. So like myself, I know what my strengths are and I know my weaknesses, but most importantly, I know whom to reach out for covering my weaknesses. So that's why you never see me talking about drug use in bodybuilding and whatnot. That's not what I do. That's not what I'm interested in. I've got so many people I can approach on a heartbeat that will explain me everything I need to know and deal with those kind of things if anything comes up. So clear out what you actually want to do and why you are doing it. Only then make a choice. What should you do to achieve your goal? But that's, again, it's just my way of thinking, and everyone is completely different. So if you got a different opinion, let me know. I'm always interested in how people's brains work, because we need to acknowledge that disagreeing is not threatening to each other, which is just ridiculous. Disagreements means that there might be different perspective on same exact stuff, and I appreciate everyone who thinks differently. If you can prove me being wrong, that's great. If you can't, I'll stick to my way of thinking, but at the same time I'll still stay grateful that some people think completely different. But that's as quick as I can wrap it all up. Education is great, but not for the reasons people think. So for me, education is not learning your anatomy, math, chemistry and all those kind of things. It's about building skill to be resourceful with surroundings. Whereas self-learning is when you actually become the master of something. That's how I think. Let me know what you think. Let's discuss, because like I said, it's always fun to get some discussions rolling. Hope you all have a great day and don't get sunburned.